Welcome to the Mismatch Era podcast. It's Vaughn,
AJ here.
and we just finished up with the Lakers Nuggets series that ended in a sweep, a very embarrassing sweep. I know AJ is hype about this one, so I'm
Man,
gonna
look,
let you
man.
start, AJ. I'm gonna let you start.
Yeah, you already know. Got my boy right here. Your local Walmart, Target, Dollar Tree. Man, man, it was a. I can't. I mean, it was a good game. It was a good game. Braun played. Braun played great. I'm not even gonna hate. Can't even say like Braun let him down. Um, he did. I don't know why he changed his mindset. First half, I think 31. Yeah, he had 31, and then he finished with 40. So clearly something changed. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he put a lot of energy in the first half. When I was watching the game, I'm like, all right, he's putting all his energy now, but I don't know how sustainable it is because I'm looking at the score sheet and everybody else, like, no one else had double figures.
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, just standing on top of the 3 point line, third quarter. Like, I'm actively watching him just stand there while other guys are dribbling. So AD started off slow. He tried to like pick it up towards the end. The lineup change didn't really address any defensive issues, honestly. But other than that, I mean, I think I'm gonna book my flight to Cancun with them too.
You know what I'm
LAX to
saying?
Cancun. I mean, Expedia has some nice prices, bro. AD.
Hey man, all right. Let me chime in on this. I think the lineup wasn't supposed to change anything defensively. I think they did a pretty good job defensively on Denver this series in general. I think their biggest problem was on the offensive end
Mhm.
and finding shots and finding playmakers and finding shot makers. Um, I said at the beginning of this series that the battle was going to be between Mike Malone and Darvin Ham.
Mhm.
And Darvin Ham just didn't have the confidence in his roster and in his guys to make the needed adjustments. You saw in the Memphis series, you saw in the Golden State series, and you saw very early on in this series, games 1 and 2, that Rui is the guy. All
Yeah,
right.
better fit.
And so my thing is Rui should have been inserted into this lineup,
Mhm.
and Dennis Schroeder should have been inserted into this lineup to take over for D'Angelo
D'Lo.
Russell because D'Lo and Vanderbilt and these guys had just got there middle of the year. Dennis Schroeder has played pretty well the entire year. Even when Russ was there, he kind of like asserted himself
Yeah,
as
for
the
sure.
lead guard for this team alongside Austin Reeves. So it's just not rocket science, bro.
Yeah,
Like it's not rocket science. You saw the games. You saw
Oh,
the games. We were calling for it after game one, bro. Me
yeah.
and you were calling for it. We saw the games.
It-
Rui should have been in this lineup. Schroeder should have been in this lineup. We called it from the beginning, and you ignore it and you wait until you're in the deepest hole possible in NBA playoffs, 3-0,
to make a change.
to make a change, bro. And it's just like at that point you should just roll with what you went with. And I just think that that's what it came down to. It came down to coach versus coach. I can't really say the players underwhelmed. I think AD and Bron did what they were supposed to do. Reeves did what he was supposed to do. I think Rui did what he was supposed to do. Vanderbilt did what he was supposed to do. A lot of players in this series did what they were supposed to do. And D'Angelo Russell didn't do anything that he wasn't supposed to do. He's been doing this. This has been him. This has been him. All right. I think you muted, bro.
You hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I
You
don't know
back.
what just happened.
Yeah, you back.
My bad, my bad. But
But no, I left off just saying this is basically who D'Lo has always been.
mhm.
Every player in this series basically played how they were supposed to play. The players you played, you weren't supposed to be making any perimeter shots because nobody can shoot perimeter shots aside from Austin Reeves. So like the players played and did exactly what they were supposed to do.
I think Brown went 4 for 6. I think Brown was hitting him. Brown did what he was supposed to do. Outside of a lot of people are gonna look at the fourth quarter. He had 5 points. A lot of people are gonna look at that the entire second half. I don't think he should be crucified, obviously, because he didn't go outside. He went out with with some heart. Um, I like Reeves, but also I kind of don't. It just seems like a lot of I'm trying to draw the foul type of game instead of trying to make the shot.
Very true.
And
Very
it's
true.
and you can tell by the way because every time he splits and gets to the middle of the floor, he looks behind him to see where the defender is and will flail a little bit. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Um, Now the question is like, where do they go from here?
So that's my thing. Like with the with organizations who have dominated the NBA so far, with the Celtics, with the Lakers, um, and different teams in that realm, I'll say I wouldn't necessarily put San Antonio in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
I could possibly put Golden State in that realm as well because they kind of went this route that I'm about to talk about. I feel like there's no more buying a championship.
No.
I feel like there was a stretch in our era where you could buy yourself a championship. The Celtics did it. The Lakers turned around and did it with Paul Gasol and Ron
Mm-hmm.
Artest. Um, you've had the Warriors do it. You've had the Heat do it with LeBron.
D
Uh,
Wade,
exactly. You've had Toronto do it with Kawhi, and I just think with the new CBA, there's no more buying a team.
yeah. There's no more big. If you get a big three, you'll look like Phoenix. Your
Exactly.
surrounding parts will, it'll be very limited. So
Yeah. Unless you're a young team like OKC or Memphis
mm,
or even New Orleans,
mm,
they have a lot of young
yeah,
players still on rookie contracts that are top notch role players. But for
mm,
the most part, the Lakers don't have that.
yeah,
You almost have to re-sign Austin Reeves. If you don't
hmm
re-sign Austin Reeves, it's gonna bite you in the ass.
yeah.
You have to re-sign Rui Hachimura. If you don't, it's gonna bite you in the ass.
Now the word on
Only,
the street is if you re-sign them both, they cannot pursue Kyrie Irving.
but I mean, to me, give up on the Kyrie Irving thing. I mean, what happened to teams seeing progress and then saying to ourselves, "Oh, this core group of guys that we have got us to the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go out and fill out the back end of our roster with things that we need and run it back." Nowadays, it's drastic change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's oh, we made it to the Western Conference Finals. We failed miserably. Let's clean house and try to go get a star and put this together. That hasn't worked for anybody in a long time.
Nah.
Getting a third star and trying to do this big three thing hasn't worked for teams in a long time. It just hasn't. Um, and that's where the Lakers are. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do the weirdo thing and go after Kyrie Irving. But like,
I think they will.
but in doing that, you're gonna deplete your roster 100%.
I think because of Braun, they will. The Lakers are in a like I said, they're in a very tough spot. Your best player or one of your best players is on the back end of his career. So it's like you can keep Reeves and Rui. I mean, it's looking like they're probably gonna have the same roster next year, minus D'Lo, I guess. Um, I feel like D'Lo got a bad rap. He did play. He didn't play that well. Obviously, he didn't play that well in this
He
series.
played horrible
Yeah, he played
in
horrible.
every series. He had one game in Memphis. He had one
Mhm.
game against Golden State, and that's just not gonna cut it in a 7-game series.
Yeah, so I mean, they have to make a decision on the point guard. I'm thinking about the list of free agents out. There is arguably nobody they can go out and sign at this very moment that would change their team drastically. As far as trades, I'm hearing Bill, but I don't really think. I mean, I guess adding Bill will make them better offensively. Bill has dropped off for me personally. Um, but that's the only name I can really think of they can acquire. I mean, they could trade for DeMar DeRozan, but I don't really think that's going to address a lot of their needs. Because this wasn't a Braun didn't have help type of roster. They had
No,
help this year, so
they
it's
have a lot of help.
they had a lot of help because there were games where Reeves and Rui were leading the team in scoring.
They don't beat Memphis without Reeves and Rui.
Yeah, so it's like I mean, Braun kind of holds the franchise in his hands, essentially, not on
Yeah.
purpose, but like essentially, like
Here's my suggestion. Once again, I'm a coach at heart.
mm,
I'm a coach literally, and in looking at the games, it's obvious. Like we don't have to always make things so complicated, and that's just what the NBA does nowadays for some reason. But it's so obvious that Austin Reeves is the point guard of this team.
yeah,
It's very obvious. What you should do is re-sign Austin Reeves, re-sign Rui Hachimura. Um, if you have to kind of evaluate the Anthony Davis thing a little bit,
yeah,
and you have to go out and get legitimate backup four, legitimate wings with length that can shoot and play defense.
defense,
They need to re-sign those two and go and get some 3-and-D wings.
mm.
That's what they need to do. If you're
And
gonna
a
trade,
center. My God,
exactly, you can trade the 17th pick and go get Dorian Finney-Smith and Joe Harris. You know what I mean?
mm.
You can
Yeah,
put
Dorian
that in.
Finney-Smith would definitely be a good pickup for the
Exactly.
Lakers.
They need those type of players. They need experienced 3-and-D players who will fit seamlessly
Mm.
to this roster. Hope that damn, I forgot the kid's name on the bench from Michigan State. Um, I
No,
forgot it
not Mobile, but
from Michigan
Max
State.
Christie.
Max Christie.
Yeah,
Hope Max Christie takes a leap. Honestly, I think Max Christie could have played
he
this
should have
year.
been
Like
playing.
he
There's a
should
lot
have
of
been
guys who should
playing
have been playing. Like, there's no reason Malik Beasley should have fell out the rotation like that hard. Like,
easily.
there's no way.
Yeah.
Like
And
that
I
doesn't make.
barely saw Lonnie tonight.
Yeah, I barely saw
Barely saw
Lonnie.
Lonnie.
Um, like they had after the trade deadline, they had a good roster.
Yeah.
Like
It comes.
everyone keeps saying they started 2-10. They started 2-10 with the roster before they had the trade deadline. They had the best
Yeah.
record after the trade deadline. So
Yeah. And I think once again, man, it just came down to coach versus coach, in my opinion. I think you should have spammed LeBron, Austin Reeves pick and rolls with some variations like bringing AD in for a Spain screen every now and then, and just keeping those three involved. You should have been spamming Austin Reeves and LeBron as ball handlers, with Reeves and Anthony Davis setting picks and putting them in action, and Hachimura as well. And you should have spammed that because Jokic cannot play pick and roll defense.
Not at all.
He can give his best effort, and he's improved. He's improved a lot, but it's still bad. Like it's still bad, and I think it just came down to coaching. It came down to X's and O's, and it came down to personnel more than anything. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna say it came down to X's and O's. It came down to personnel for the Lakers, and Denver ran with their guys and kept their rotation short for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and LA kind of was all over the place. Like
I think
respectfully,
I think like Coach Malone, he purposely like when they were down because Jokic sat in the second quarter until like the 6 minute mark and they were still down. So I think he was content with the like where they were at heading into halftime because he knew like because Jokic played most of the second half. That's why Jokic really had 10. Like he really wasn't trying to score at first and stuff like that. Come third quarter, I'm like, all right, they're running everything through Jokic now. So it's just like attack, attack, attack. Aaron Gordon played great, and that's my thing again. The Nuggets may be one of few teams where they don't have a single player in the starting lineup that you can leave open or play off of. Aaron Gordon had 3 threes. He had 22 points. They tried a little bit to play off him. It doesn't work because of where he stands.
hmm
Their offensive scheme works to perfection for their team. Like Aaron Gordon, you rarely see Aaron Gordon behind the 3 point line. Sometimes he even handles the ball when they run a certain set. So it's like it's hard to guard a team where like you can't just sit here and say we'll live with him.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the way that you'd leave Jokic open, but they don't put Jokic in position
no,
to leave
to
open.
to be
And
left
this
open.
and,
Yeah.
and this is a good way to transition to our second series because once again it just comes down to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Mike Malone has more experience than Darvin
Yeah.
Ham. Coach Eric Spoelstra has more
He was way
experience than
more
Joe
experienced.
Masula. So you're seeing you're seeing the Heat and the Nuggets kind of spread both teams out
Mm-hmm.
and put people in position where they're most effective and literally stressing the defense. Like they are stressing the defense every single play. And I think I think that's where I'm super interested to see. I'm interested to see what Boston does. You know what I think.
Yeah, I already know. It's over
I think
tomorrow.
this
That's a
series is
it's
over.
over.
Yeah, I thought it was. I called it from the beginning. Um, I thought they was still game three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think they still game four. I think this is a sweep,
Oh, for real?
and I think it's a sweep because game three is the easier game to steal. Game four in Miami, the stars are gonna come out. Jimmy
That's true.
Butler and all of those guys, those veterans are gonna be saying, "Look, we don't want to leave Miami," and
That
they're
is
going
true.
to play. They're going to play harder than the Celtics tomorrow. I think.
Oh no, for sure. I do think I do think Boston wins tomorrow. Their chances of pushing it to 7. If it gets to a game 7, they will win. But I don't think it'll get to a game 7. I do think they'll lose in. I think they'll lose in 5 or 6. The way they're looking now, Jalen Brown looks god awful. Tatum, I don't know. Tatum, he's a tricky. I don't know, man. That's just no comment. But it's
Yeah,
like, and Marcus Smart out there crying about. I know you seen the clip. We beat y'all last year. Blah blah blah. Man, this not last year. This year. They were
yeah.
out there.
I think that quote was taken out of context.
I think it was too.
I think he was saying that like Jimmy was talking as if they won a
Yeah,
championship or something. He was just
yeah.
like, "Look, y'all were trash last year, so like
Why are you
y'all were
talking
one
like
seed.
this?
Weren't they the one seed last
Yeah,
year?
that was the 1 seed last year, and they lost to Boston.
Yeah,
But Boston was still like a 3 seed when they lost.
yeah. They
Like
won't all
that.
the way down at the bottom like the Heat
Mhm.
was to start this series.
Um, it is pure coaching because for one, like I said, it makes no sense why Jimmy is not even seeing not even a double team. You don't have to double team all game. If the game is close, they're giving the ball to Jimmy. Like there was no double team. Like that game two, they just let him play 1-on-1. He just had Grant Williams on the island. He really did whatever he wanted. And if you notice, like I said, Jeremy is not the greatest ball handler. He just gets to his spots and pull, and that's literally all he was doing. So as a coach, make some adjustment. You can't go zone on the Heat because they have all shooters around Jimmy. Like what is it, Struce, Gabe, and
Struce,
uh,
Gabe, Caleb,
Caleb.
Robinson.
That's who's also been a surprise. That's one of the main reasons they're also losing.
He about to get paid. He
He's
might be a
doubling. Yeah, he's doubling his average. Like I think he averages like almost 20 in the series. And that's something they probably didn't expect or anticipate. Like Caleb Martin, I think he's shooting like almost 50% from three. So I mean, I guess that's something they didn't
So
expect. But
listen to me, AJ. You see that thing behind you?
yeah,
I want you to hold it up
or,
right now.
or tomorrow,
This is going to be a sweep, bro.
it's over tomorrow.
And it's going to be a sweep because of what you just said.
Damn.
Boston, Boston, in order to beat Miami, what I think Boston needs to do is put actual shooters on the floor. You'd have to put Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett. You have to squeeze in actual 3-point specialists into this series to maximize um what you're trying to get out of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown when it comes to Miami disposing that zone. And they're trading twos for threes because
Oh yeah,
their answer to Miami's zone is a high pick and roll with
hmm
Robert Williams, and then he's kind of like rim running,
hmm
and they're hitting them on the short roll or all the way to the rim, and they're getting a lot of twos and putting a lot of pressure on the basket.
But if they play Hauser or Pritchard, that's a defensive liability by far.
That was my second point. And if you put those guys in, Miami has 6 guys. They have 6. They have Jimmy Butler, they have Gabe Vincent, they have Max Strus, they have Caleb, they have
Yeah, Duncan. Duncan is back in the rotation, hitting threes.
exactly,
So it's
exactly.
like,
They have Duncan. I can't think of the other two that I'm thinking of
oh,
off the top of Kyle Lowry and
Lowry, and you said
what's
Vincent
another?
already.
I said Vincent. There's one more,
Yeah,
but 5 guys is enough. They
yeah,
have 5 guys that can dribble, pass, shoot, play defense.
that is true.
They have 5 guys that can do that.
Oh,
They
Kevin Love.
have Kevin Love,
Yeah,
but they have 5 guys that can put you on an island
hmm
and literally, if the help defense isn't there, you're cooked. You're cooked. And if you put
badly.
Peyton Pritchard is actually not the one that I'm concerned about. I think he
Mhm.
plays pretty decent
Yeah,
defense. I really don't understand why Peyton Pritchard doesn't play more for Boston. But
it doesn't make
probably
much
because of the
sense.
Brogdon addition, it doesn't really make much
But he
sense.
wasn't playing before that anyway. It just didn't. I don't know because he's a lot of people say he's really good. Like he does, he just doesn't get the opportunity.
He's really good. He's like what Tyus Jones was in Minnesota.
Oh,
He
yeah,
just
so
didn't get the opportunity for whatever reason. But when he does, he's going to be a scary player for bench units or whatever the case may be.
yeah, he
But
won't be back next year.
yeah, but that's Boston's issue in this series, and I just think no matter what they do, Miami has an answer for it. They are at a disadvantage in this series because of what they've allowed to happen.
Yeah,
If you try to spread out and guard the 3 point shooters, Bam and those guys are gonna kill you on the boards. Like it's just it's just so many things that like you know who's really hurting Boston this series? Al Horford
Oh, not
because
just this series, every series. Like
he's
last series, yeah. But
he's really good. But the issue is he can't really flip that switch anymore.
nah.
He can't really get into a pace and space game or he can't be put in a position where he catches the ball on the wing and you're expecting him to take somebody off the dribble and play make or whatever the
No,
case may
just
be.
spot up, straight spot.
Yeah, and
It almost
he also can't really move his feet that well on
no.
defense anymore. Like he can't stay with those guys on the perimeter, and in order to do so, he has to kind of anticipate the drive, and then in doing that, you're giving up 3 pointers.
Yeah.
So Boston is. I hate to say it, man. Unless they get another one of those Tatum games, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, and they're in a tough spot too because this is the time to win because now if they don't win, I don't think Tatum and Brown should be broken up. I know a lot of people do, but I do know if they don't win by next, wait, we're in 2023 now. Okay, so they have to win this year because they have to pay Brown and Tatum a combined what? Like what I saw like 600 mil.
Listen,
That's a lot of money.
yeah, and I don't think they're gonna split them up, but I think Marcus Smart is probably gonna. I don't know what his contract looks like.
Yeah, I don't either.
Marcus Smart, I think Marcus Smart is gonna be a casualty.
Mhm.
Um, those other guys around them are gonna be a casualty, but if they were smart, they'd break them up because it's a shooter's game now, and your second star in Jaylen Brown, when he can't shoot consistently, it puts you in a situation where there's so many things the defense can do to like to really put the clamps down on Jason Tatum.
Mhm.
So I mean, I saw like different rumors and things like who would trade for him.
Who
Uh,
Brown?
yeah, I think like putting Brown next to somebody like you put Brown next to somebody who can shoot, like elite shooter, like the Steph Currys, Desmond Baines, um, Trey Youngs of the world, like who can really stretch the defense and shoot. I think the best the best landing spot for Jaylen Brown will probably be Atlanta.
That's what I was about to say. Would they pull the trigger for a Trey Young and Jalen Brown swap?
It makes
Because that's the only way
sense.
that deal is getting done. They're not.
It,
I don't think Boston's not getting rid of Jalen Brown without getting a star. Jalen Brown's a star. He's a star. He's a star.
yeah,
But they're not trading him without getting another star back.
yeah, and I think it just makes sense for both sides. Like Trey Young needs a change of scenery.
Hmm.
He needs to go somewhere that like appreciates what he brings to the table. And Boston would definitely appreciate that because they haven't had a point guard that can pass how he does and shoot how he does
Hmm.
and just make the type of game winning plays he does. They haven't had a point guard like that in a while. They had 1 year of it with like Isaiah
I
Thomas,
thought, yeah, yeah.
but like they haven't had that in a while. And I think that would be perfect for them. And Atlanta, on the other hand, like they need. I think
I don't know what they need.
Dejounte Murray is better as a point guard.
Yeah,
He's better as a point guard. So like, put Dejounte Murray in his natural position. You have good wings. You add Jaylen Brown to that. Defense doesn't become a problem, and now all you do is you figure out how to get the shooting that you need.
yeah. I
So
mean,
with
because
both,
they have Bogdanovich, so that's one shooter. The Hawks
yeah,
do. But the
Yeah,
Celtics,
they
yeah,
Hunter can shoot as well.
yeah, Hunter can
Um,
shoot. Trey Young can shoot, but Trey Young doesn't take threes anymore like that. I noticed, even though he
Trey
can
Young.
shoot, yeah, he doesn't take as many threes as he used to. He takes a lot more of the, the floater. We know he has the range to take them, but
And when he does take, he does have to work on his shot selection.
yeah,
But like Boston wouldn't mind that.
oh no,
They've had Marcus Smart shooting 8 threes a game
wide open,
for the last 4 years. Like they don't mind a point guard that can actually shoot,
yeah,
taking attempts. But
because this is the best their roster is going to get after this year. Their roster isn't,
unless they make a trade.
yeah,
Okay.
unless I mean, there's only so many few places Brown can go. I know you guys. I know you mentioned Dame. But the thing is Brown gonna even want to? I mean, Brown doesn't have a decision, but are they really gonna do Brown like that and send him to a rebuilding
Well,
team?
if you send Brown to the Blazers, then they're no longer rebuilding because that's a good little package you're getting back. If you're sending him to the Blazers and you're getting
Is that third pick
Anthony,
involved?
Anthony Simmons, that third pick, and some other assets, that's more than enough. Some future picks. Now you got Dame, Jalen Brown,
Brown,
um,
Grant.
Jeremy Grant will be gone. That'll open up spots to sign other people though.
Oh, you think he'll be gone?
Yeah, he's a free agent, so
Oh,
he'll probably be gone unless they re-sign him.
hmm,
But if they re-sign him, that's a that's a good little lineup, especially
yeah.
with the young guy they just got who didn't play at Kentucky.
Oh,
I'm
Shaden Sharp.
Shaden Sharp. Yeah, I'm
That boy
blanking on
bounced
names right
crazy,
now.
man.
Exactly, but there's plenty of places. I mean, the Grizzlies would be another place or destination that he could possibly go, but they'd have to give up Bane. They're not gonna give up
You're not gonna give up Grant.
Ja or Jern.
Nah,
And so if they give up anybody, it'd have to be Bane.
Bane
And I
and
just don't see it happening.
Probably Zaire.
Yeah, and we got all of our picks, and we got the Warriors 2024 pick, which might be pretty sweet. Might be pretty sweet.
Yeah, depending on what they do.
I'm
What
feeling
did you,
confident that pick gonna be top 20. I'm
top
feeling
20?
confident that pick gonna be top 20.
They would have to miss the playoffs, right?
Nah,
Not
they can be
or the HC,
6 seed, 6
60.
seed, lower.
I mean, yeah, Boston. I mean, like I said, a lot of franchises were on the line this playoffs. Philly's getting blown up,
Mm-hmm.
roster wise.
Yeah, that's
Boston
another
will
one.
get blown up. I don't think. I think they resign them both, and I do think if they ever do get broken up, it will be in the middle of the contract. I don't think they're gonna do it.
One spot we forgot. You can sign and trade, and you can call them boys from up north in Toronto, and you can get a really good package for Jalen Brown.
It depends who it
Cause,
is.
Cause they have Fred VanVleet,
He's a
they
free
have
agent
OG,
though. Oh,
they
sign
have
him.
OG and Anobi,
Hmm.
and they have Siakam to give up. So
I
that
need
could be a
OG
good
and
spot.
Fred. I need OG and Fred
You
because
need
they're not
OG and
giving up.
Fred.
Yeah, because they're not giving up OG and Siakam for Jalen Brown, unless there's
Oh yeah,
like.
nah, you got to pick. It's
But
gonna be Fred, and it's gonna be somebody else.
yeah, I'm gonna need Fred and OG, and they can take Smart and J.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
probably would take
if you
Smart.
got Van Fleet, there ain't
Yeah,
no need for Smart because Van Fleet can defend too now,
yeah.
and he's much better offensive player. He's just better than
No,
Marcus
he's a better
Smart.
player. No, he's a
Yeah,
way better
he's
player.
better than Marcus Smart.
But it's
But
like,
I don't know. We talked about that in our first podcast, man. Like Celtics got some decisions to make.
yeah,
Celtics got some decisions to make. Um, yeah, Warriors got some decisions to make.
they
A lot of those teams got some decisions
Memphis,
to make.
a lot of teams got decisions to make. Like
I don't think
the
so.
Knicks.
So Memphis doesn't really have decisions to make. The thing with Memphis, speaking as someone who's a Memphis fan and follows Memphis
Mhm.
very well, The Memphis thing is overblown,
Yeah.
and it's an overreaction because if Memphis has Brandon Clark and Steven Adams, I'm not sure the Lakers series is
Even goes the
that
way it
much of
does.
a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's even much of a problem. And then you run into Golden State, I don't think is much of a problem. And then you run into the Nuggets, and Jokic has somebody to play against that he's just like, okay, I
Because he ain't
can't
moving
move this
Steven
guy
Adams
out the
like
way.
that.
Yeah.
He ain't moving Steven.
So it's not that big of a deal. The biggest thing with Memphis has always been what do they do to replace Dylan Brooks? That's all. You
Mm-hmm.
have your point guard of the future. You got your small forward of the future. You got your shooting
Shooting
guard of the
guard of the
future.
future.
You
And
got your
then,
power forward and center of the future. You just need a small forward and a bucket off the bench. And I think once you get rid of Dylan, you got all of your assets. That's a team that's probably going to end up getting Siakam or OG Anunoby. But yeah,
yeah, like
they're actually in a great position.
whatever contender gets Memphis should be their number one priority. Getting OG.
Getting yeah,
Getting OG.
getting
OG should be
getting a
in
small forward, even if
yeah.
it's not OG. You
Or
can go
Grant.
out and
Somebody.
get Jeremy Grant. You can go
Yeah.
out and get Cam Johnson. You can go out and get a combination of Cam Johnson and um, DFS Dorian Finney-Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out and get Gary Trent to come off the bench and be a good bench piece. You can go out and get Memphis doesn't have to make a huge splash. They can just do little things and add different pieces. And I think that's where a lot of these teams are. Nobody really needs to. All those teams we mentioned, they don't need to make a big splash.
Nah.
You just need to move some things around. Maybe trade player for player here and there, and build a culture. But yeah, man, the West is gonna be scary. Like these teams that we saw today, I mean that we saw today, like compete.
Mm-hmm.
Next year they might not be. They might not be back. That's how strong the league is.
I can tell you
Off
won't be back for sure. In the
who won't be back?
uh nah, I can't remember all the match. Who was the I don't think Minnesota would be in, actually nah, they have too many. I really don't think Minnesota will be back in the playoffs, but
There's a lot of
Anthony
people I
Edwards,
think.
yeah.
There's a lot of people I think not gonna be back in the playoffs. We don't really have time to speculate,
Yeah.
but
But
I'm
a
just
couple
saying the
teams.
league. There's so much parity in the league that it could literally be flipped upside down
Yeah.
next next time we're in these
I can tell you one
playoffs.
team who won't make the playoffs though, for sure. Houston. They won't be in the playoffs at all.
We shall see.
At all.
We shall see, bro. Cause
I mean, with the roster they have now, they might make moves, but I'm saying they going to next
yeah,
season with that
cause
same roster. They will not make
cause
the playoffs.
only reason I say let's be careful with that is because you come out and let's say you sign James Harden,
Mm-hmm.
you trade one of those young boys for a vet, and next thing you know, you trotting out there with a lineup of James Harden,
Jalen Green.
Jalen Green, um,
I know
Jabari Smith, Sigon, and whoever else you get in the draft, and all of those young pieces that they got, and a vet. You might be looking at another Sacramento Kings situation.
Them signing
Another,
James Harden makes no sense to me, but
it does not make any sense at all. I think they'd be better off signing a guy like Fred VanVleet
yeah,
or somebody like that. Um, but yeah, it could be flipped upside down.
yeah,
Utah gets some good players, they could be in the playoffs. Pacers get some good players, they could be in the playoffs. New Orleans can come out next year and be the number one team in the league. Um, Memphis can come out next year and be the number one team in the league.
yeah.
The Bucks can do it again. It's so many things that can happen. But before we get out of here, let's look ahead to the potential Nuggets
versus Heat.
and Heat finals because it's gonna happen after tomorrow. If I'm wrong, my original pick was four. I mean, going
Four,
five, four,
yeah,
one.
4-1.
So, but I'm calling sleep, calling sleep.
For
But
Denver? Oh, you talking about for tomorrow? For tomorrow?
for tomorrow,
Oh,
yeah.
for tomorrow.
No, I don't think this series is gonna be like you said earlier. You think that Nuggets are gonna be beating up on the Heat? I don't see it. I think the Nuggets are gonna really have to figure out how they want to play against this team. And once again, just like the Boston series, you might be looking up and it's 1-1 going back to Miami, or it's 2-0 going back to Miami. And it's just like, that's a scary place to be in.
But also, Denver has closed. Who did they play in the first round? They played
Minnesota.
Minnesota. They have closed every series on the road. They won in Minnesota. They closed in Phoenix, and then they beat LA.
So
So
here's the
they
issue.
can win on the road too.
So here's the issue. Those are all teams to me with identity crisis. Those are all teams that don't really have a true idea
Yeah, what they
of who they are, who they go to when it's time to close, what sets they go to. That Phoenix team didn't spend a lot of time with each other.
no
LA didn't spend a lot of time with each other. And Minnesota didn't spend a lot of time with each other because Cat was out
for like
75% of the year.
for like 4 months.
So they played a bunch of teams that are not really that familiar with each other. So now you're playing the complete opposite. You're playing a Miami team that has 5 undrafted guys coming off their bench that have been with Miami for at least
3 years.
2 to 3 years. 3 years, probably 3 years and above. Then you got Jimmy and Kyle who are battle tested. You got Bam who's been in Miami since day one. You have a team that has a coach that's aware of these. He developed them.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows what they can do, what they can't do. He knows what sets they need to go to. And I just think if they figure out a way to take, I think if they figure out a way to completely make Jamal Murray a
Out of it.
non-factor, they make Jamal Murray a non-factor, you make Jokic beat you. Because I love Jokic, but like I'm not gonna put my money on Jokic going out there and doing what Jimmy Butler has done and taking the
I don't know,
team's
man.
taking the team's soul. I'm not gonna. I don't because you saw tonight when the games get rough and the calls are not going this way. Jokic can get frustrated too,
Yeah.
and he can start doing bonehead shit too.
Yeah,
It
the two
hasn't happened a
charges.
lot.
Yeah, the two charges were kind of
Yeah, and if you do
dumb.
that, you know Miami is one of the best charge teams
Charging
in the
teams in
league.
the league. Yeah.
That zone might frustrate him. Like
But that's the thing. The
it's
Heat have played teams where they can leave a guy open. Like the Heat have been leaving not Aaron Gordon, have been leaving Grant Williams open. They've been leaving. They're cool with RJ Barrett taking them threes on the Knicks. Like they've been leaving RJ open. And Julius, honestly, if we're being real, Julius wants to be a shooting guard. And then who did he play first round? I forgot who they played in the first round, but Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee, I think they were leaving
they can leave a
Jonathan.
lot of people
They was leaving
open.
a lot of people open. They were kind of
Yeah,
playing prey ball a little bit. So
yeah.
it's like it's gonna be hard to do that against Denver. I mean, the series maybe not a sweep, but I definitely do have like the Nuggets winning the series. I do not think Jamal Murray will average 30 points a game like he did against the Lakers. Because there will come a time in this Nuggets Heat series that Jimmy Butler will be the primary defender on
Jamal Murray.
Jamal, and he can guard the pick and roll. That's the funny thing. So it's like there's going to be harder for the Nuggets to get that off, that dribble handoff, because Bam is a good defender. Bam is a good defender. He can guard the pick and roll.
So here's my thing. We saw the Nuggets look dominant because they were playing a Los Angeles Lakers team that can't shoot.
Yeah.
That can't shoot and can't really muster up the offensive output that a lot of these other teams in the playoffs can. So they have to play a certain way to win. They have to make it a rough, foul heavy,
Hmm.
dragon slug, and get up and down before the defense gets set when they got opportunities type game. Whereas if you're doubling Jokic, the Lakers had a chance to win all of these games
Hmm.
by using that strategy. They doubled Jokic, Jokic kicked it out, and they hit some threes, but they didn't hit them at the rate that they probably should have.
Who,
And if
the
you
Nuggets?
yes,
Oh
and
yeah,
if you
they had a lot of open shots.
and if
A
you do
lot.
that against the Heat, where you're missing shots and you're not making those shots, it's gonna be a long series because that's one thing though. The Heat can guard everybody on the Nuggets except Jokic probably.
Yeah.
Denver can guard.
They can guard every single player on the Heat.
I don't think so.
I can't think of a player
I
who they
think I think
Jimmy, maybe well,
I
the
think
way
no, it's
Jimmy
not.
plays, Aaron Gordon, because he can't outmuscle Aaron Gordon.
But I also think it comes down to me. There's 5 people on the floor.
Hmm.
So if you put Aaron Gordon on Jimmy Butler, you put KCP on this person, you put Bruce Brown on this person. All right, you still got Jokic probably guarding Bam. That fifth person, the Miami Heat can still throw a fifth person out there, and there's a matchup on the court every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. And there's no guarantee that Gordon is going to be able to hold Jimmy. Gordon might get in foul trouble early and not be able to play.
Yeah, that's easily.
So
You can pick
it's
up quick,
just
two quick ones.
exactly. So I mean, you got the Nuggets in this series, and honestly, I'm leaning Heat in 6.
Mm. Yeah, I got
I'm
Nuggets.
leaning I'm leaning Heat in 6 because of like what I see Eric Spoelstra doing out there. This is going to be one of the most like people are looking at this series and they're like, "Oh, Nuggets and Heat." No, this is going to be an extremely entertaining series. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a back and forth series. I think, and it's going to come down once again to coach versus coach.
Yeah.
And
It's two good coaches, so
I'm giving Eric Spoelstra that win every single time. I'm trusting
yeah,
him more.
because he got 3 rings.
hmm
So,
So
yeah.
I'm
So you got Heat in
I think he got two
two.
wins.
You got
Yeah.
one with Wade.
He got.
Right?
I don't think he was
It
there
was
with
the coach
Wade.
of Wade. Oh nah,
I don't think
who was the
so.
coach of Wade? Oh
Might have
06?
been Pat.
Pat. Oh,
Might have been Pat Riley.
oh okay. Yeah, then
I can't. I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember who the coach was.
I think it
But
is Pat Riley because Pat Riley went up
to the
to the
office.
front office when
Yeah.
LeBron came, and LeBron wanted him to coach them, but Pat was like, "Nah,
Nah, I ain't doing
I
it.
got the perfect coach for you."
Yeah.
But
So you got Heat in 6, and I got Denver in 6. I mean, so we should see.
it just comes down to who you trust more. I have gained the trust in Miami. I trust that they're going to make the right plays. They're going to take the right shots. They're going to be locked in. I don't trust that the Nuggets are going to. They haven't played an intense team yet.
Nah, but they also haven't played. I don't remember the last time Denver got blown out of a game.
But and
Like,
also think about who Miami has played.
yeah, they
They
played
played
Milwaukee,
they played Milwaukee.
the Knicks.
They played the Knicks, and
They
they
playing in
play
Boston.
Boston right now. So they played a dominant big. They've played
Who played a
uh, uh
dominant big?
What you mean? Who played a dominant
He
big? They
didn't
played
play no dom.
Milwaukee.
Oh, that's it. I thought he was talking about. I thought he was talking about everybody else. I mean, I thought he was
Oh
talking about
no
the
no
Knicks,
no
and the
no no no.
Celtics. I'm like,
But even if you go to the Knicks, like Jalen Brunson has been better than
oh yeah,
Jamal Murray this year. He's
yeah,
been better than Jamal Murray this year. So you've played
an elite guard.
these assortment of players that are elite. You played the elite big. You played the elite wings. You played the elite guard. Ah, so it's gonna be interesting, but it could quite
It
easily
can go either way.
be Nuggets in six though. It can
Yeah.
quite easily be that. It's gonna come down to Jokic being really him. Is he really
Yeah,
him?
man.
We
Like I said, a Jokic ring would put him on the top of the league. Yeah, he'll put him at number one because at this very moment, you know how they. You already know how they do.
you know how they do,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like he win the ring. He gonna be because he already got two MVP. The only thing he missing is a ring.
Jimmy gonna get that ring, boy.
I
I'm
said
telling you,
Jimmy. Either
Jimmy
one
gonna
of
get
them.
that ring.
If Jimmy get a ring, he leaves the top five.
Jimmy getting that ring this year. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
he
I'm
leaves the
telling
top
you.
five. But we gonna see. One of them about to be Jimmy already top 10 to me because this is the third time he's done this. So but we gonna see.
I'm yeah. I mean, I think regular season plays a part too. I can't put him in my top 10 just because taking off the regular season to me is still. It's kind of how like Tim Duncan was his last few
Yeah,
years of his
he was
career.
taking off.
He was taking off the regular season and then killing in the playoffs. I mean, top 15 for sure, but it'll come down to like playoff performers. Like, is he a top five playoff performer in my generation? Easily,
Yeah.
easily. Is he a top 15
Bucket.
player in my generation?
Uh,
Probably barely.
probably yeah.
Probably
Probably
barely.
not, but
Yeah. So it just
well, a
come
ring will
down.
change that actually, but because you know how the rings carry the most weight now.
I hate
So
the ring culture, man.
yeah,
But I
that's where
mean,
we at.
respect to Jimmy though if he get that ring. Respect to Jokic if he get that ring. Respect to those two teams because
That's what I was going
I'm
for.
glad to have them. I'm a small market guy, so I really
The Heat
can't
ain't small
stand.
market though.
Say it again.
The Heat ain't small market though. They just
But
they had
how they built
yeah
how
they
they
built
built
yeah
their brand is very like small
small
market.
market ish like yeah
For me, if as long as the team is not in Los Angeles,
New
New
York,
York, or that northern part of the United States,
Chicago, yeah.
like
Chicago Bulls
Illinois,
are good.
Pennsylvania, like all of those teams, then yeah, I, I'm not gonna say I'm against those teams. I just hate how the media does when those
Yeah,
teams have any type of success.
you see, that's why I don't like. For example, just a quick joint, quick thing like Mo Bamba. They made the biggest deal talking about breaking news. Mo Bamba's playing or is cleared to play. He didn't see the floor.
At all,
Like,
Tristan
what?
Thompson saw the floor.
Yeah, like why is Woj and Shams and all these pages talking about Mo Bamba? I'm thinking, all right, they possibly might insert him to the starting lineup. That wouldn't have worked anyway. But he didn't even touch the floor. That's what I'm saying with the LA Lakers. Like they made not even just Lakers, LA in general. And then I get it, it's the brand, but we got to start covering up other teams because everyone keeps the Nuggets were saying they were underdogs for a reason because of the narratives that were being pushed, and the
Yeah,
narrative
and that's
was that they were underdogs. They're not making that up.
and Memphis felt like that too.
Yeah, Memphis same way.
Memphis
Every team
felt like
LA
that.
played.
Yeah, and I think like the main thing for me is just like you got to pay attention to media nowadays because even what they're doing with Ja, I feel like that's all a ploy
Here's a ploy.
to get him to
Yeah.
want to leave Memphis and go to a bigger market, and then the narrative will completely change. Same thing they're trying to do with Zion. Same thing they're trying to do with with Trey, just about any player
Yeah, because
that comes
Zion, they're
from a
talking about he don't even like New Orleans and management and all that. And it's
that
like
man love New Orleans. He can't stop eating. That man love New Orleans. Shit, I love New
the
Orleans
gum,
too.
the gumbo.
Yeah, he can't stop eating, bro. That man love New Orleans. I would too. That food is amazing down there.
Yeah, nah, for real.
No,
But yeah, I
facts, but
mean, somebody about to be on top. Jimmy or Jokic, one of them.
yeah.
And I
I
couldn't be
mean,
any happier.
if the Heat somehow find a way to allow the Celtics back into this series, man, the tables would flip
Oh yeah,
dramatically.
for sure.
But I don't
I
see
don't think
that.
Jimmy will face a lot of criticism though, because Loki, the Heat are
They shouldn't be
they're
here.
exceeding. I don't want to say they're exceeding expectations, but nobody thought
They
they were.
are.
Yeah, okay,
They
I'll
are
say that.
exceeding
Yeah, they're actually
expectations.
by a mile. So like Jimmy won't, because if Jimmy lose, they do have a valid reason. Like they don't have a second. I don't know if I consider Bam a star. He's a really good player. I don't know if I consider him a star. He's playing like a star, but I don't know if he. I consider him a star.
I could say he's a star.
He's a star,
He's a
but
star. He's a star to me.
yes, but it's
You got
like
to think stars to me are like top 30. Top 30 in the league is a star to me
is Bam top 30?
easily.
Can't think of 30 guys right now, but if he is
Easily.
top 30, he barely. I think he barely cracks the list. If I really had to think, I'm not sure though. He might not. He might be top 30.
He
He might
might be, yeah, he might be. He's in that 20 to 20. He's in that 20 to 30 range,
Yeah, I'll give him top 30.
especially when he's playing well. Oh yeah, and we haven't talked about the potential return of Tyler Hero.
I don't think he's coming back.
If he doesn't come back,
I, I
same
mean,
thing still applies
yeah.
for me. But if he does come back, that's a wrinkle that the Nuggets, because he definitely be coming off the bench,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's like a scary thing for the Nuggets bench. I think.
yeah. Because a lot of people are saying they should just trade Tyler Hero. I don't think all they did was insert Duncan Robinson for Tyler Hero. I mean, Tyler Hero wouldn't make them worse or make them any much better. I mean,
I really don't know. I don't think Tyler Hero fits with them the same way I don't think Jordan Poole fits with Golden State. I think those two people need to be on teams where they have the room to like grow
yeah,
that
because
aren't competing.
Poole is good. All these people are saying like if you actually like watch him play, he's actually really good. The issue is that he keeps getting flipped in and out of the starting lineup. Like he's starting 30 games in the starting lineup, and then now he's readjusting to a role where like that's hard to do. Like he's readjusting to a role like where he's barely even touching the ball, and
And
then
they're and he's on a team that has a history of like berating younger players for
yeah,
whatever reason. Like I don't know what Steve
I don't
Kerr
know what
think.
it is. Yeah,
I don't know what he has against younger players, but that thing is there. But I think yeah, they're the same archetype to me.
yeah,
I think Tyler Hero is
he might be a
a
little
lot.
better,
I don't think so.
maybe.
I think he gets more opportunity
Yeah,
to shoot.
because Spoelstra
But
don't care. He'll let anybody. He'll tell anybody go ahead and do what
and
you
that's the difference. I think I changed my mind about the Tyler Hero thing. The Tyler Hero thing to me is it's just hard to grow in a situation where like you're expected to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh,
like
for Poole, yeah, because the Warriors.
both of them,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
both
yeah.
of them. So like it's hard to win in an environment where you're expected to win. Like Desmond Bain is probably a tier above them too, and
Hmm.
like with him, he's in a perfect situation because like they're super ahead of schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's 23, 22 years old, and if they win, cool, and you are winning, so it's cool. but there's no pressure to win. You know what I mean? So
Now for
like,
Memphis, no. Only thing with Memphis is they just be talking. That's only thing. But it's
yeah,
like they exceeded their rebuild by like 2 or 3 years. They're not even supposed to be. They're
this
supposed to just
good.
They're supposed they're not supposed to be a top 3 seed. Like that's what I be trying to tell people. Like people just don't like how they talk. But if you really think
But I
about it,
don't. But you really think about it though, like that's a myth in itself as well. Like Memphis doesn't really talk that much. I think Dylan Brooks talks a lot,
yeah,
and they banter just like everybody else on the floor. But because they are young,
yeah,
I think everybody has a problem with it because they
yeah.
are ahead of schedule and they are brash and they are cocky.
Memphis probably had one of the quickest rebuilds in NBA history
Oh,
because
easily.
they went to the lottery, got Ja. I don't know how many years they were bad before getting Ja. Maybe like a year.
One,
One, yeah.
they were bad. Then they drafted Jaren and they
Jaren, yeah.
tanked. They tanked. So 2 years
Yeah,
they
2 years.
tanked, and then they got Ja,
Ja.
and then after that they were winning
Yeah,
again.
so it's like that's a very quick turnaround for a team who
And
got rid of their whole core of
that
Zach.
second year wasn't even. They weren't even bad. They just tanked and they had injuries.
Yeah. So it's
So
like
like
they
they
played it
they lucked
right.
up.
And same with the Warriors. The Warriors are the Warriors were in the same spot. Like they were in a spot where
They
you
could
have
have
your
easily
core
been.
and you have your young players, but like you said, Steve Kerr for some odd reason, like they act like he was playing two-way guys over the rookies they had, which made no sense. Which is another reason they struggled in the playoffs. Like because you're playing Ty Jerome and I forgot the other guy's name, Anthony Lamb. Guys
Yeah,
were on two-way contracts majority of the season. When you have Kaminga, I don't know what his issue is with Kaminga, but
it's just I don't know. It's just Steve Kerr. He comes
he's
from
arrogant, man.
the Bulls, which are like the most arrogant team in NBA
Yeah,
history, and then you win with a team like the Warriors, who the Warriors are pretty arrogant themselves as well. They're not as brash about it, but they're arrogant.
yeah,
Like Steph is arrogant. The way Steph plays is arrogant in itself.
yeah. He just don't talk off the court. He just be
Exactly.
doing the extra stuff on the court with the no look threes and the dancing and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
But
pulling up from fucking half
from
court.
court, yeah. So and then Clay with the rings and stuff. Draymond just be talking, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot. And the next 2 years in NBA is gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna see what's up with it. But
But yeah,
yeah, for me, that's it.
mm-hmm.
We gotta see what happens with this Heat Celtics game tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, see what happens with that. Hopefully, I hit on a bet, bro.
Man, I hit
I've
the
been
night on one. There was another one I needed Jamal for like 6 assists. Bro was stuck on 5 for the entire quarter.
It's crazy, man.
It'd
I'm
be
trying to hit, bro. I've hit in the last like week or so, but
mm-hmm.
I need to hit like on one of my big bets.
I know that's how it be.
You gotta start sending me those bets, man.
I sent you something today.
I didn't see them, bro. I
Let me
was
see. Oh no, I sent you something yesterday. That's what it was.
yeah. It was yesterday.
Now Lakers joint, I sent out last minute. I'm taking that. But
Word.
nah, I'm a catch. I mean, what is it? May 23rd when the finals start. June 1st. I mean, these teams about to have a lot of time off. Somebody's
Yeah,
going to have to start the finals early.
yeah, for sure.
It's 2 sweeps. That's
So
crazy.
when does the finals start?
They set a date for June 1st. So if
Dang, so
the
they'll
Cel-
have a whole week off.
yeah, so if the Celtics win, I mean, if the Heat win tomorrow,
If the
they're
Heat have
not
a whole
playing.
week off, it's a wrap.
They both gonna have a whole week off.
I know, but I'm saying the Heat specifically.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a whole week off where Jimmy can get healthy, and
Oh
it's a
yeah,
wrap.
yeah, because like they'll have an entire week off. June 1st is a Thursday, next Thursday. So no basketball for like 7 days.
Wow.
which I'm sure they be. But hey, it is what it is.
Well, we're gonna see, man. I'm gonna get out of here, man.
All right.
This mismatch era is Vaughn.
Hey, appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned. We have our first interview with a special guest soon. Hope y'all
For
look forward
sure.
to it.